सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अहं वृक्षस्य रेरिव कीर्तिः पृष्ठं गिरेरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनीव स्वमृतमस्मि द्रविणगुं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We have to start the Brahmanandavalli, the second chapter. Before entering there, we have to read the Sahanavatu again. See, regarding this Shanti Pataha, there are different versions available in different texts. So better we'll just know all that. Of course, we all know very well, without any doubt, there will be naturally obstacles in any pursuit. Not only in the pursuit of Jnanam, there will be obstacles. There will be obstacles in the pursuit of even Artha Kama Dharmas. And we all know any obstacle, any impediment, any hindrance in accomplishing anything, leave alone Jnanam, even in accomplishing any Artha Kama Dharma, any pursuit, there will be naturally obstacles. And those obstacles, impediments are definitely caused by our own prarabdha papa karma. And the only way of removing those obstacles in any accomplishment is by tapping Bhagavan's grace. Because the prarabdha karma, papa prarabdha karma cannot be removed totally, but it has to be neutralized somehow, that so that the obstacles will not be there in our pursuits. That is why the tradition has arranged this, that we begin anything and everything with the prayer. Even a puja is begin with the prayer. There is always, even before doing a havan, homa, or even a puja, we invoke first Ganapati so that to remove the obstacle even in the puja. See, we want to worship the Lord to earn His grace, specifically. And even there, if we worship, if a yajna is performed, homa is performed, the puja is done, and there will be benefit, definitely. And to prevent us from enjoying that benefit, our papa will be there in the form of obstacle even in puja. That is why we always invoke anything, invoking the grace of Bhagavan as the one who removes all obstacles as Vigneshwaraha. Why we invoke Ganapati first? Because Ganapati, Ganesha, is known as Vigneshwaraha to ward off the obstacles in our even puja. So Shanti Pataha, we all know very well. The purpose of doing Shanti Pataha is the removal of obstacles. And one more thing, as Shastra students, you all must be very clear. Obstacles can be many obstacles. But the sources of obstacles are only three. There's no fourth source of obstacle at all. All the obstacles that can come must be only of the three sources: one's own self, or anybody else, anything else other than one's own self. Then neither I nor the world or anything else, but the natural, uncontrollable, unpredictable natural calamities, or predictable also uncontrollable calamities, natural calamities, can become the source of obstacles. So considering, with having thoroughly analyzed that all the obstacles, all the impediments and hindrances cannot be anything outside of these three sources of sources, and these all Shanti Patas end with this 3 times Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And it is also said, when these obstacles are caused by our own Prarabdha Karma Papam, obstacle prevents us from enjoying, accomplishing what we want to enjoy, what we want to achieve. So whenever we are not able to achieve what we want to achieve, it is not a very pleasing thing. It's a pain. It is some sort of a pain, inexplicable pain. I wanted to do this, I wanted to achieve this, so many obstacles I'm not able to achieve. It ends in what? It leaves us with pain. And that pain, especially when you are not able to accomplish this jnanam with a great shraddha, a student starts, so there can be obstacles. And that's why pain is always, obstacle always causes pain. And that pain caused by the obstacle is called tapaha. Tapaha literally means heat. But here, even paschatapaha, even a compassion, when you see other person suffering, that also causes the pain in us. We feel sorry for the person. Oh, this person is suffering like this. I feel helpless. I'm not able to help. That is also pain. When you see other person suffering, that also causes pain. That's called paschatapaha. When obstacles are there, obstacles cause pain. There's also tapaha. Not only why pain is likened to the heat. Emotional agony is likened to the heat, because heat can really take away all the dampness, all the things. It can really dry, scorch the things. Sunlight, the heat of the sun can scorch and make everything dry, reduce them into dry, lifeless things. Like that, mental agony also meant the pain caused by obstacles also really can scorch our mind. So it's a mind-scorching pain. Mind-scorching heat is the pain. Agony scorches our minds. That's why instead of saying the obstacle, we say tapaha. And so pain caused by obstacles, for which there are 3 sources, and that pain is known as tapatrayam. A trayam means a set. Not that we don't have 3 pains. Pain is one, but the pain caused by obstacles arising from 3 different sources is said to be tapatrayam. So tapatraya nivrityartham trivara shantihi. 3 times shantihi is uttered for the removal of tapa caused by obstacles arising from 3 different sources. Now, so for the Krishna Yajurveda, the Shanti Pataha is Sahanavavatu. And I said, Shamno Mitra is a special Shanti Pataha exclusively for this studying the Taittiriya Upanishad. The different publications have their different versions somehow. They say the Shanti Pataha which we read, Shanno Mitra, in the beginning of the first chapter, Sikshavalli, is also taken as a Shanti Pataha along with the Sahanavavatu for the second chapter. This is one version. They say both Shanti Patas must be taken as the Shanti Patas of the second chapter. This is one version. And some people, okay, this is one version. And the another version is, no, the only Sahanavavatu should be taken as the Shanti Pata of the second chapter. And another version is, the second Shanti, Shanno Mitra, at the end of this first chapter, second Shanti Pata, Shanno Mitra with the past tense verbs, that also should be taken as the Shanti Pataha. That one and Sahanavavatu should be taken as the Shanti Patas of this second chapter. Like this, we have three different versions. Is it clear? The second Shanti Pataha coming at the end of the first chapter with the past tense verbs should be taken as a Shanti Pataha belonging to the second chapter. Like the different versions are there. Doesn't matter. We read all Shanti Patas anyway. So now we have to begin this Shanti Pata Bhashyam. We have learned Shanti Pataha. I have explained the meanings already, but still we have not read the Shankaracharya's commentary on this Bhashyam, the Shanti Pataha. We'll learn here. So let us do Shanno Mitra once, Sahanavavatu once, then we'll start. That's why I didn't do earlier. Om. Page number, okay, I'm doing Shanti Pata. Okay, for you Shanti Pata, there's no mantra here. Okay, you can chant after me. Om Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Na Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnururukramaha Shanno Vishnururukramaha Namo Brahmane Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmavadisham Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmavadisham Ritamavadisham Ritamavadisham Satyamavadisham Satyamavadisham Tanmamavid Tanmamavid Tadvaktaramavid Vaktaramavid Avenmam Avenmam Avid Avid Vaktaram Aram Om Shanti 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 Shanti. In page number 408, Shankara Bhagavad states, earlier the Shanno Mitra Ityadi Atita Vidya Prapti Upasarga Prashamanartham Shantihi Patita. Earlier, the Shanno Mitra Shantihi was learnt, chanted. Shanno Mitra Shantihi was learnt before, chanted before. For the elimination of obstacles in the understanding of the subject matter of the first chapter, which has already gone, the chapter which has already been completed. Which means it's also an expression of our gratefulness to Bhagavan for having enabled us to have completed the first chapter. Now, the same page he says, Idanim tu Vakshamana Brahma Vidya Prapti Upasarga Prashamanartham Shantihi Patyate. So, what he says now, this the Shanti Pataha which has been just chanted now by us has been chanted for having completed the subject matter of the first chapter. Now the Shanti Pataha Sahanavavati is going to be chanted. Idanim now Vakshamana Brahma Vidya Prapti Upasarga Prashamanartha Shantihi Patyate. Again we are going to this Shantihi, Shanno Mitra Shantihi, Sahanavavati, both Shanti Pata. Okay, Shantihi is, so Shanti Pataha is chanted for the elimination of obstacle in the attainment of Brahma Vidya, which is going to be discussed in the following second chapter. So he started the Shastri chanting of mantras in page number 409. This is from where we have to start today. Om Saha Navavatu Navavatu Saha Nau Bhunaktu Saha Nau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Shanti. Now Shankaracharya's commentary begins on this Shanti Pataha Sahanavavatu. Better you all understand his original Shankara Bhagavad Pada's commentary directly. Page number 409, the first book. Sahanavavatu. He takes the first thing, Sahanavavatu, then he explains that first. When Shankaracharya writes his commentary, he takes every word in a sentence and he gives his own meaning. Then he also makes a necessary comment about it. So Sahanavavatu, he takes that first sentence, and he first says now. He first explains Sahanavavatu, he breaks it. Sahanavavatu, he breaks it. And then he first comments upon the word now. This now is a dual expression. First person dual, nominative dual expression. What the meaning he writes? Sishya acharyo, sishyacharyo. Sishyacharyo means what? Sishyaha tatha acharyaha. Sishyaha, disciple, acharyaha, the teacher. Even though I need not give this meaning in this context, I wanted to tell you one thing. The disciple is called Sishyaha, the teacher is called Acharyaha, and both the words are loaded with a beautiful meaning. Know that. Sishyaha means Siksha Yogyaha. Sishyaha means Siksha Yogyaha. Siksha Yogyaha means the one who deserves the teaching. You can't simply say student. Okay, one who is studious is student. One who is disciplined is disciple. We also have beautiful meanings for these words. But Sanskritam, the word Sishyaha specially means the one who deserves the teaching. Who is the one who deserves the teaching? Definitely the one who is prepared, one who is committed to the pursuit of knowledge, one who has a keen interest in understanding the teaching, one who is not coming to the class forced by other people, one who comes voluntarily, I want jnanam. That one who deserves the teaching is here Sishyaha. And Acharyaha, of course, you already know the meaning. Swayam acharati anyan acharye sthapayati acharayati iti acharyaha. The teacher is the one who himself follows strictly what he teaches. Then that by playing a role model, he also makes others, setting an example, he makes others also follow. Not by saying, but himself following the teaching, himself being a role model. He's a teacher. Therefore, here it's a side note, okay? It's not given there. I'm adding the Sishyaha and Acharyaha. So Shankaracharya says, now means us. Now literally means us. So may that Lord protect us means, what does the student mean? He means us, the disciple and the teacher. Sishya Acharyo. Then Sahaiva Avatu. Sahaiva means together. Together only. Avatu. And he comments upon the word Avatu as Rakshatu. Avatu means Rakshatu. Again, Rakshatu is a Sanskrit word. May protect. So here the Lord is implied here. The Lord is not openly revealed. If you take the word Saha together, Sa and Ha, if you write together, it means together. If you break the word Saha, if you take it as two letters, Sa and Ha, the two ways of taking the meanings. If you write these two letters Saha together as one word, it is an indeclinable word which means together. You break that word Saha into two different letters, Sa and Ha. There Sa with Visarga means that Lord. That is a third person singular pronoun which means that Lord. And Ha should be taken as indeed. Okay. So may that Lord protect us. Protect us. That's the meaning already. So may that Lord protect us together, both teacher and the student, disciple and the teacher. You can say, take this way also. Two ways of taking it. Got it? Now, again after Avatu, we have another word. Saha now Bhunaktu. Bhunaktu means, Shankaracharya gives the meaning Bhojayatu. You can write the words, gradually you can get it. Bhunaktu is equal to Bhojayatu. So Bhojayatu means, Bhunaktu Bhojayatu means may nourish. May that Lord nourish us, both the disciple and the teacher together. So nourish means what? Okay, we'll see that here. So may, he says, so may that Lord protect us both by blessing us with the knowledge. The teacher is already blessed, supposed to be already blessed with the knowledge. So may that Lord protect us by blessing us with the knowledge. First avatu is the meaning of the first avatu, first protection. So may the Lord nourish us means may the Lord nourish us with knowledge which is capable of protecting us. So nourishment, food nourishes the physical body, knowledge nourishes the mind. Knowledge is the food for thought. Just as food is the food for body, knowledge is the food for thought. And it is this knowledge which alone can nourish our minds, thereby protect us absolutely. So, Bhojayatu, may the Lord nourish us with knowledge, thereby protect us means may the Lord bless us with the enjoyment of the benefit of knowledge. Sometimes we may get the knowledge, we may not be able to enjoy the benefit of knowledge. So first avatu, may the Lord bless us with knowledge by going through without Shravanam and Mananam without any obstacles, and thereby may the Lord bless us with the enjoyment of the benefit of knowledge by going through the Nididhyasanam also. Is it clear? Sometimes you are able to buy the food, you are not able to eat it. Still you are starving. Sometimes you don't even get the food. Sometimes you get the food and no time to eat. Understand? So you're not able to enjoy it. What is the use of having it? So having the food in your hand, not being able to eat is as good as not having got the food. Therefore, very carefully the prayer is made. May the Lord bless us with the attainment of knowledge of the self, and may the Lord bless us with the enjoyment of the benefit of that knowledge also. That's why twice we ask for protection. Avatu, may He protect us. Bhunaktu, may He nourish us. Nourish our minds with protection in the form of enjoyment of the benefit of knowledge. Then, I'm going to next line. If you want in English language, you had the third line. Saha Viryam Karavavahai. And then Viryam. Shankaracharya writes the meaning of the word Viryam. I really want you to have thorough knowledge. The word Viryam, he writes now. Okay, Saha means together, of course you know. The word Viryam, he writes it as Vidya Samarthyam. Viryam, what is the meaning Shankaracharya gives for Viryam? Viryam literally means strength. And Shankara Bhagavad writes, Vidya Nimittam Samarthyam. Vidya Nimittam Samarthyam. Viryam is equal to Vidya Nimittam Samarthyam. So Samarthyam means capability, capacity. Capacity required for the right knowledge of the teaching. Vidya Nimittam Samarthyam. So capability for the right knowledge of the teaching means the student also must be blessed with the capacity to understand the teaching properly. The teacher also must be blessed with the capacity to communicate the teaching properly. Okay, this is what is said to be Vidya Nimittam Samarthyam. Viryam is equal to Vidya Nimittam Samarthyam. Okay, now Karava Vahai. He comments upon the word Karava Vahai. And what is that word he writes? Nirvartayavahai. Nirvartayavahai. Means may we make. So nirvartayava, if you put them together, nividya nimittam samarthyam nirvartayavahai means may we both make appropriate, adequate effort required for the attainment of this knowledge. Okay? May we both make adequate, appropriate effort required for the attainment of this knowledge. So, Viryam Karavavahai is equal to Vidyanimittam Samarthyam Nirvartayavahai. May we both make appropriate, adequate efforts to make, okay, required for the attainment of this knowledge. So, what should be the effort on the part of the student? May I be blessed with the capacity to understand the teaching. Let there be effort on the part of the student also. So may there be effort on the part of the teacher also to communicate effectively. Okay. And he moves on to the next word, Tejasvi. Tejasvi navadhitamastu. There he goes to now, he breaks that word, Tejasvinavadhitamastu. He is breaking it. Shankaracharya is breaking it for the purpose of clarifying the meanings. Tejasvi, short. Tejasvi, now. Tejasvinava. If you take it, Tejasvi, now, adhitam. He breaks that into three words. Tejasvi, now, adhitam. Because Sahanavavatu meanings I will not be doing again. Okay? First time I'm doing the Shankaracharya's commentary here. That's why I'm make it a point. You already know the meaning to some extent, but what exactly Shankaracharya writes, that I wanted to know. Tejasvi, now, adhitam. Together becomes Tejasvinavadhitam. Tejasvi, now, adhitam. So Tejasvi, Tejas means brilliance, and Tejasvi means brilliant. Tejas, brilliance. Tejasvi, brilliant. The word Tejas, some other context may mean fire also. But here Tejas means brilliance. Tejasvi, brilliant. So, now means our. Now means our. He now means us, now means our also. Our. Both our, the knowledge which both of us have, that knowledge. Avayoho. Adhitam. Adhita means su-adhitam, well understood. May the teaching be effective. May the knowledge of the teacher and the student be brilliant. Means what? May the knowledge of the teacher and the student shine. Shine means what? May the teaching be, knowledge of the teacher and the student be effective, shine, brilliant. Tejasvi. If it has to be effective, brilliant, shine, it must be well understood, well ascertained. May the knowledge of the subject matter of the Shastram be well understood, thoroughly understood, that it becomes effective. It shines. Okay. Shankaracharya writes, Artha Jnana Yogyam Astu. Su Adhitam Astu. Adhitam, he writes the meaning, Artha Jnana Yogyam Astu. Well understood means what? Adhitam means understood. What does it mean? Shankaracharya says, Artha Jnana Yogyam Astu Ityarthaha. So the understanding be such a way that let it be fit for understanding the essential meaning. What is essential meaning? Aham Brahmasmi. Okay. May it be with the knowledge well understood, be fit for the knowledge of the essential meaning. Okay, now I leave for you to read all that. Then page number 10 for you homework. Page number 411. So, Sahanavavatu, Sahanav Bhunaktu, Sahaviryang Karavavahi, Tejasvinau Avadhitamastu, Tejasvinau Adhitamastu, we finished. Tejasvi Nau Adhitam Astu, we finished. Now, Ma Vidvishavahai. We are moving on to that line now. Ma Vidvishavahai. So, see, Vidvishavahai literally means hate. Hate. So, Ma means may not. May we both not hate each other is the literal meaning. There's no need for the teacher or the student to hate each other. Therefore, what should be the correct meaning? May we not have any misunderstanding between each other. So why should there be misunderstanding between each other? May we not have any communication gap between each other. So Shankaracharya writes beautifully, Vidya Grahana Nimittam. Vidya Grahana Nimittam Sishyasya Acharyasya va Pramada Kritat Aparadhat Vidveshaha Praptaha Tat Chamanaye Iyam Ashihi Ma Vidvishavahai Iti. What he says, Vidya Grahana Nimittam means what? In the process of gaining this Brahma Vidya, in the process of teaching on the part of the teacher, in the process of receiving this knowledge on the part of the student. Okay, so in the process of receiving or in the process of giving, in the process of attaining this knowledge, Brahma Vidya, there may be accidentally, not intentionally, accidentally, there may be some unfair response. Unfair response because of the accidental omission or commission on the part of the student or the teacher. The student might have done unintentionally something wrong, or he might not have done something what is right, or the teacher might not have done something right. The teacher might not have done something wrong. It's not possible because it is accidentally, not intentionally, accidentally. So accidentally committed omission, commission or omission on the part of the teacher and the student may give rise to some communication gap or unfair response. So then that can cause some communication distance. So such an obstacle should not be there. So tat chamanaya, for the sake of removal of such a situation of not having any communication gap between the student and the teacher, here the prayer is already thoughtfully done. O Lord, may we not have any communication gap or unfair response on the part of each other in terms of accidental commission or omission on the part of any of us, both of us. Ma vidvishavahai. So, ma maiva itareteram vidveshama padyavahai. May we not have such an occasion, such a situation where we have to, keep us away from each other. May we not have such a situation. So may we both have good relationship. May we both have good understanding of each other. May we have friendly relationship, because the teacher-student relationship is the most sacred relationship. You know that Guru-Sishya relationship. The relationship between the Guru and the Sishya is the most sacred relationship, which should result in, culminate in the accomplishment of the greatest end, moksha. Only way. Because the Guru's intention is always to help the student to accomplish his end. And the student also is a highly grateful teacher, Guru, because he's who's helping us, putting us in the right track to accomplish that. Therefore, and that should be always maintained. Any other relationship in the world may come and go, can break, and always it leaves you with what? Sense of insecurity and fear. Oh, the fear of losing the relationship. Any other relationship will always leave the person with the fear of the insecurity, that the relationship may end any time. Whereas Guru-Sishya relationship is very unique, very sacred, because it should culminate in the accomplishment of moksha, where you will be absolutely secure. What a difference. That is why after mother and father, Guru should become everything. Okay. Ma vidvishavahai. Vidvesham apadyavahai. Ma apadyavahai. Which means there must be trust in each other. The trust in each other keeps the relationship always strong. And the trust should be based on the commitment to the teaching. And homework 412 and 13. Om Shanti 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 Iti Trihi Vachanam Uktartham. He says already the meaning for 3 times Shanti has been already said. What are 3 Shanti? Page number 414. Quick. The number of pages have increased for homework. Number of pages has increased. Okay. Vakshamana vidya vigna prashamanartha cheyam shantihi. So, iyam shantihi. You know, the word iyam means this. Shantihi, this peace, the expression peace is uttered 3 times for what? Vakshamana vidya vigna prashamanartha. The Shantihi is uttered 3 times specifically for the elimination of obstacles in the attainment of knowledge of the reality, which is going to be discussed in the following 2nd chapter. Okay? Because Vakshamana, see, Vakshamana Vidya. Vakshamana Vidya means what? Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the reality, which is going to be discussed in the 2nd chapter. And there, obstacles will be there. So, this Shanti is specifically done for the removal of obstacles in pursuit of Brahma Vidya, which is going to be discussed in the 2nd chapter, next chapter. And he himself, Shankaracharya says, Avighnena hi atmavidya praptihi ashasyate. So, atmavidya praptihi, praptihi attainment. Attainment of the knowledge of the self is prayed for without any obstacles. Attainment of the knowledge of the self is prayed for without any obstacle. Avighnena. Avighnena hi atmavidya praptihi ashasyate. So, param tanmulam hi param shreyaha iti. Tanmulam param shreyaha. Because attainment of moksha is absolutely dependent on, totally dependent on self-knowledge. As there's no other way of discovering happiness, only by discovering the self-happiness, fullness has to be discovered. Therefore, our discovery of moksha is purely dependent on discovery of the self. Why? Happiness is available for recognition only as the nature of the reality. Everything else is accomplished, as it were. Nothing is unaccomplished. That's why kasmin vijnate sarvam vijnatam bhavati. What is that one thing by accomplishing which everything else becomes accomplished, as it were? Kasmin vijnate sarvam vijnatam bhavati. What is that one thing by knowing which everything else becomes known, as it were? Everything else does not become known. Everything else becomes known, as it were. By knowing everything also, what is that you want? Happiness and peace of mind. That is accomplished by knowing Bhagavan in the obtaining of your own Surupam. By knowing the truth. Therefore, it is the Brahma Vidya. It is the knowledge of reality. Obtaining as one's own self, discovery of one's own self is what? In fact, knowing everything, as it were. Everything becomes known, as it were. Therefore, then once jnanam is there, what is not achieved now? Everything is achieved. Therefore, Vairagyam is glorified in terms of glorification of Hanumanji, because he symbolizes Vairagyam. He asadhya sadhaka swamin asadhyam tava kim vada. He asadhya sadhaka swamin asadhyam tava kim vada. Hanumanji is addressed. Vairagyam is addressed. Hey asadhya sadhaka. O accomplisher of the impossible. Whatever we think is impossible, And it is possible if a person has vairagyam. Anything you want to accomplish, you must become totally committed to that what you want to accomplish. The total commitment to anything you want to accomplish is possible only when you become dispassionate towards everything else other than what you want to accomplish. The total commitment. I don't mind spending 5 minutes for this because I love this. It's very important for us. So, asadhya means impossible. What cannot be accomplished easily, what cannot be accomplished at all, is said to be what? Asadhyam. Asadhya means unaccomplishable, non-accomplishable. That which cannot be accomplished at all is asadhyam. And who is Hanuman? Sadhaka, accomplisher. Accomplisher of what? Achiever of the non-achievable, accomplisher of the unaccomplishable, which means accomplisher of the impossible, which means there's nothing impossible for Hanuman. What does it mean? Nothing is impossible for us if we have vairagyam. Which means we can be 100% committed to what we want to accomplish, then we are definitely dispassionate towards everything else. So, asadhya sadhakaha Hanuman. Hey, asadhya sadhaka. Here the devotee is addressing Swamin. Swamin is also an vocative case. Swami. Swami is a nominative. Swamin is a vocative case. When you address a Swami, actually, even when all of us address each other, feminine is Swamini, but masculine gender Swamin. That's how you must address. Suppose you want to Swamiji also, Swamin. In Sanskrit, Swamiji is okay. G we add respect. But in vocative case, Swamin. You know, the Swami is a beautiful word. If you remember the meaning of the word, Swami means one who has absolute mastery over one's own mind. He is a Swami. Okay? One who has absolute mastery over one's own mind is a Swami. The person who has the absolute mastery over one's own mind is the one who has the absolute mastery over the entire world. Having mastery over one's own mind means having the mastery over one's own mind means absolutely free from the hold of all emotions. Raga, dveshas, anger, fear, anxiety, jealousy, greed, hatred, pride, none of these emotions can disturb a person. They have been resolved for good. Understand? Such a person, the one who is free from the hold of all emotions for good, who has got them resolved for good, is the one who has absolute mastery over them. That is possible only if a person has the clear vision of Bhagavan being one's own Swarupam. Thereby, one who revels in the vision of fullness is the one who has that mastery. He is said to be the Swami. Every sannyasi is supposed to become a Swami. Understand? Supposed to be a Swami. So, how can we say the one who has the mastery over one's own self is the one who has mastery over the entire world? No, when can you say that you have mastery over the entire world? Mastery over the entire world does not mean becoming a controller of the world. What it means is not being dependent on the world for one's happiness and security. If I'm not being absolutely independent of the world for anything, absolutely being independent of the world emotionally for one's happiness and security, is what? Having mastery over the world. If I'm still dependent on the world for my happiness and security, I'm a slave of the world. If I still need the company of something, I need something or the other in the world for my happiness, for my security, then I'm still a slave of the world. Dependence upon the world makes me a slave of the world. Independence upon the world makes me a master of the world. It is not physical. I'm talking about emotional independence. Therefore, the person who has the clear vision of Bhagavan appearing as one's own Swarupam, because of his total commitment to Bhagavan, because his vairagyam, and that person has the absolute mastery over his own mind. Therefore, he also has a mastery over the entire world. And such a person is said to be Swami. Oh Swamin. Asadhya sadhaka Swamin. Asadhyam tava kim vada. The question is asked, Tava, for you, what is impossible? Hey Hanumanji, what is impossible for you? Please tell. Kim asadhyam? Kim asadhyam? What is impossible for you? Tell me. What is impossible for you? It is not actually a question. The question is actually a emphasis on one's understanding of there's nothing impossible. Then we call Hanumanji, Hey Ramaduta, O messenger of Rama. Because Rama sent Hanuman as a messenger to Lanka. Hey Ramaduta, O messenger of Rama. Daya Sindho, Ramaduta Daya Sindho. Daya Sindhuhu. Sindhuhu means ocean. Daya means compassion. O ocean of compassion. Where there is Purna Vairagyam, where there is a total dispassion, because Hanuman is a jnani. Where there is total Vairagyam, there's no dependence upon anything in the world for happiness. Therefore, the dependence is not there. Therefore, there's no disappointment and frustration on the part of the person who is independent. It is no frustration, definitely there is no anger, etc. Therefore, there will be only compassion. The person who is of the vision of fullness will be a personification of compassion, embodiment of compassion also. There's no fear of losing anything. Nothing can trigger any anger. Therefore, naturally, there'll be compassion. This is secret, okay? If a person wants to be absolutely compassionate, what is one thing you need? To be compassionate towards others, to have compassion in its entirety. Genuine compassion is possible according to Shastram only when nothing in the world can hurt you. Okay? If nothing in the world can hurt, means Okay, nothing in the world can cause any pain. That is possible only if a person has jnanam, vision. And Hanumanji, Daya Sindhu, ocean of compassion. He Daya Sindhu, O ocean of Sindhu, ocean of compassion. Daya Sindhu. But Daya Sindhu, O ocean of compassion. Daya Sindhu. Matkaryam Sadhaya. Hey Prabhu, O Lord, the Lord of. Now, Hanumanji, as any jnani is identical with the Lord. Therefore, O Lord, mat karyam, my object, what I need to accomplish. Mat karya means my job, my work. I have a project, my project. I have a project of accomplishing Jnanam and Moksha. Sadhaya, please do enable me accomplish my end, my goal. Please enable me accomplish my goal. Make me accomplish my goal how you accomplished your goal. Ramaduta Daya Sindhu Mat Karyam Sadhaya Prabhu. Mat Karyam, my project, my end. Sadhaya, help me accomplish. Enable me accomplish. This is Hanuman, isn't it? Hanuhu means chin. Hanuhu means chin, this chin. And mat means, like the mat is a specific, a special affix, which means being endowed with. Like gunavat, means one who has virtues. Dhanavat, one who has wealth. Buddhimat, one who has intelligence. Bhaktimat, one who has bhakti. Like Hanumat means what? One who has Hanu. Hanumat. So nominative Hanuman. Hanumat means one who has projected chin. Hanumat. Is son of Anjana Devi. He is called Anjaneya. Mother was Anjana. So Anjana's son is Anjaneya. And he has this prominent chin, he is called Hanumat. 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 Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam. The Janaki, daughter of Janaka, Sita is called Janaki. And Sita always stands for mind. Rama stands for Atma, Sita stands for mind. Symbolically. And Shoka, where is Shoka? Rama doesn't have Shoka. Atma doesn't have Shokam, grief. Shoka means grief. The Shoka is a trait belonging to the mind, grief. So, but Hanuman, once Vairagyam is there, then what happens? The grief on the part of the mind can be resolved if the mind is resolved in Atma. If the Sita mind is resolved inseparably in Atma the Rama as its source, then because of Vairagyam, Hanuman, then the grief in the mind will be resolved for good. He said to be Janaki Shoka Nashanam. Shoka Nashanaha. Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam. Kapisham, he is the lord of all monkeys. Kapihi means monkey. All Vanara Sena, the big, huge army of Vanaras. Lot of all those. And all of them were supportive of the great cause. So Vairagyam always takes the lead. Vairagyam takes the lead in accomplishing any huge cause. Like even now, Corona has to be fought against universally. So now people, lot of effort is involved. Always lead. Vairagyam takes the lead. Okay, this is my goal, I'm going to accomplish it. That commitment makes forget everything else. Isn't it? So, Vanarasena, Kapisham, Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashtam Kapisham Akshahantaram. He was the destroyer of the demon called Akshahantaram. Vande Lanka Bhayankaram. One who really caused great fear in Lanka. Where adharma is, Vairagyam is very frightening force. Wherever adharma, frighten. Vairagyam always will frighten adharmis because they will run away. Anyway, little story wise, if you see, Hanumanji really caused a tremor, fear in the minds of all inhabitants of Lanka, whoever was wrong, involved in associated with wrong action. Okay, now we have to enter into the new text. Because I missed the morning puja, I was very guilty. Okay, so I did my job today. So sorry to have taken your time for that. I taught these few verses to my students in young UK, young students, to tell it every day. Because very difficult, challenging when they go out, come back in the evening. Very challenging. They go work and meet people. So, specific request, see that until you find the right choice of your person, don't fall for wrong people. Be very careful because the world is so. I told them, so they do this. Protection, we need protection in the world. Now, I just read only first line and I will stop. Okay? Yeah, I learned it as a child, these verses. Yeah, I see there are some Hanumat Stuti. We have Hanumat Stuti. There are verses in praise of Bhagavan Hanuman. And so many are there. So many are there. And these verses we memorize, chant from childhood. This Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram. One more verse we have. First one I said, Asadhya Sadhaka Swaminne Asadhyam Tava Kim Vada Ramaduta Daya Sindho Matkaryam Sadhaya Prabho. Another one is, the other one is that beautiful verse. Buddhir. It is nice to know what all you can have if you have Hanumanji's grace in terms of Vairagyam. If you have Vairagyam, if you have Bhagavan Hanumanji's grace, Buddhir, Balam, Yasho, Dhairyam, Nirbhayatvam, Arogata, Ajadyam, Vakpatutvancha, Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet. 8 things you'll get. Hanumat Smaranat, just by remembering Hanuman, invoking his grace always. All of you must have Hanuman. Just by invoking the grace of Hanuman, remembering Hanuman, Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet, these things will happen. All these things will, one by one, all these things will be there for a person who remembers Hanuman. What all will things happen? Buddhir, Buddhihi, Buddhi means intelligence, sharpness of intellect, good power of intellection, Medha Shakti, also right thinking, right knowledge, even Ramajnanam, even knowledge of Bhagavan. Buddhi, Buddhir Balam, Balam strength, physical strength, tremendous emotional strength. What is emotional strength? Nothing can shake. Because things, situations in the world will always be shaking you. Okay? We can't expect the world to be always bed of roses. World will be always bringing some new challenges. So how to do what I should do thoughtfully, prudently, instead of being shaken by situations. That needs right thinking, right to make right decisions, to move ahead, and also knowledge, self-knowledge. Then Buddhir Balam, strength, absolute physical and emotional strength. Physically strong, emotionally strong. Buddhir Balam, Yashaha. Once just you are yourself, you just be yourself doing the right thing, then you don't need to work for fame. Fame will come in search of you. Yashaha. Even if you do not want fame, see, the person who really does not care for fame, the person who is really reveling in oneself, the person of fullness does not really expect the fame. No way. It is possible for a person to expect the fame only if he is expecting happiness through fame. Very interesting. The person who is expecting fame is, if you analyze why I want to be famous, well-known, popularity. Because through fame, popularity, well-known, I'm still searching for happiness. People want fame also ultimately for happiness only. If a person who is already reveling in fullness, he doesn't care for fame. What fame has to bless him, he's already got it. But for such a person, fame will naturally come, effortlessly will come. Buddhir Balam Yashaha. The fame will come searching for the person who ignores the fame, who doesn't care for the fame. Buddhir Balam Yasho. Dhairyam. Dhairyam, courage, bravery. Where there is jnanam, where there is commitment to dharma, there will not be any fear. Dhairyam, courage. Courage implies fearlessness. Dhairyam. Many a time we lack courage. Right thinking, clear understanding, sharpness of intellect is there, courage will be there. Buddhir Balam Yasho Dhairyam. Because courage is there, nirbhayatvam, fearlessness. Courage is there, therefore there is also fearlessness, nirbhayatvam. And now he says, not just strength already has been mentioned. Now arogata, diseaselessness. Rogata means being diseased. Arogata means arogyam, diseaselessness, health. Absolute perfect, robust health. It's got a holistic health, isn't it? Arogata. Buddhir Balam Yasho Dhairyam Nirbhayatvam Arogata Ajadyam. Jadyam means dullness, inertness, ignorance, lack of shrewdness. Ajadyam means absolute alertness, sharpness and shrewdness. Total consciousness, awareness. Ajadyam. Vak patutvam. Vak means speech. Patutvam. Vak Vakpatuhu means Vakpatutum, capability to communicate. Vakpatutu means the person has the clear expression, the person of clear expression. Even one can communicate well. Vakpatutum. So whoever wants all these 8, remember Bhagavan always, Hanumanji always. Okay? Buddhir balam yasho dhairyam nirbhayatvam arogata ajadyam vakpatutvancha hanumat smaranat bhavet. Om Namo Bhagavate Hanumate Anjaneyaya. I'll see you later. We'll bring only second book in the afternoon. Okay? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I can definitely tell you this is a monumental work, Swamiji's work. It's fantastic, especially for even people. Swamiji's intention was to help people who want to become teachers also. That's the main idea. It was, I haven't yet read it really, speaking. I only talk from what I've heard from him. But very nice, fantastic book. Complete. So when you listen, go back and read, it'll become a great, thorough knowledge.